Let me start by saying congratulations to you, number 10. I see you in the playoffs. I am actually ecstatic that he's finally in for this reason. The knock I've always had on number 10 is this: he does not win enough to get this much praise. As many passing yards as he had, that is great. But nobody remembers passing yards. They remember wins. Dave Helman, how many passing yards does Tom Brady have in his career?
Oh, God, a lot. I don't know.
Great. How many Super Bowls has Tom Brady been through?
10.
He's been to 10. You're exactly right. Dave Helman, Tom Brady leads the National Football League in passing yards. How about Drew Brees? How many passing yards in his career?
Like 49,000 or something?
No, you're dead wrong. Oof. But how many Super Bowls has Drew Brees been to?
One.
He's been to one. I could do this all day, y'all. Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre. When you think about the top passing yard leaders, we don't know how many passing yards they freaking have, but we do remember how many Super Bowls they went to. Justin Herbert, he had all the yards in the world. I personally did not care. And you ultimately, you wouldn't care in about 20 years either. I was just a little futuristic with it. I don't care about the passing yards. I care about the games that matter, and Justin Herbert is in the games that matter. I cared about Justin Herbert being a winning quarterback, and now officially at 24 and 23, he is a winning quarterback. This accomplishment of making the playoffs is the biggest accomplishment of Justin Herbert's career. I don't care about Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't care about throwing for 13,000 yards in 3 seasons. I don't care about all the touchdowns. Making the playoffs is the biggest accomplishment of number 10's career, because making the playoffs is what it takes to win a Super Bowl. Making the playoffs is what it takes to have your name etched into history. That is what it takes, is winning football games and making it to the playoffs. So of all his accomplishments, which everybody else will applaud him for, this is the one I applaud him for. Dave, what is the significance of Herbert making the playoffs for the first time?
I felt a little sarcastic, like a little bit.
That was genuine. That was genuine.
No, it's as significant as his big arm, man. It's huge. And like, as much as I might disagree with you about how good of a quarterback Justin Herbert is, we can find common ground in the sense that he had to do this. He had to get to the playoffs in year 3. That's what this is all about. That's why you play the game. That's why you want to have be a quarterback and have the ball in your hand at the end of the game. And for him to be as talented as he is and get to year 4, year 5, year 6 before he makes it happen, nobody wants any piece of that. Because first of all, at the end of the day, it does say something about how good you actually are if you continue to fail to get your team to this stage. And on top of that, it becomes its own thing. It's like the Cowboys not getting back to the Super Bowl. Yep. Like every year it compounds upon itself. So to get this out of the way, think about, the good young quarterbacks get this stuff out of the way immediately. Yeah. Mahomes did it in year 1. Josh Allen did it in his first year. Joe Burrow did it in year 2. Jalen Hurts did it in year 2. And to your point, in 20 years, nobody's going to remember what Jalen Hurts' first playoff game looked like. He got his team there. And so this was huge for Justin Herbert to get this monkey off his back. And now, unfortunately, Justin, now it becomes about how you play on this stage. You get to feel good about this for about 2 weeks before we reset the narrative and say, okay, but how do you play in the playoffs? But it's a privilege to be there. Those are good problems to have, right?
Great problems to have. 2-5, Justin Herbert, playoff berth. What you make of it?
I'm happy for him. I think a lot, especially you guys love to argue, oh, he's good. He has all the most passing yards ever in the first 2 years, but he hasn't been to a playoff. So I'm happy for him for that. It stopped the hate a little bit. But this is what I will say about Justin Herbert. I know you don't care about the stats, but the stats matter. So now that he goes to a playoff, appearance, and let's say they don't win a Super Bowl, that's still like a big thing. Because when it's all said and done, right, when like you said, 20 years from now, if Herbert, if Hurts, Tua, Burrow, if they all go there and nobody wins a championship, they're going to go to the numbers. So this is a stepping stone, I think, for getting a Super Bowl, what it takes. Got to go to the playoffs to win a Super Bowl. But I look at him the same way. Like, them stats you have, you can't make that up. Can't make that up.
What do you make of it, Joy, Justin Herbert in there?
Oh, I think it's very significant. As a young quarterback, you should be getting better every year. And not just you, your team should be getting better. I'm with you. I really don't know what Chargers fans are so mad about, other than the fact that I said at one point this year that Tua was better than Justin Herbert, and actually at the time he was playing better than Justin Herbert. So if you want to be mad about that, that's fine. If you're mad that I said that Patrick Mahomes is better than Justin Herbert, I don't know. I guess you have other people you need to talk to other than me. I don't care about that. Justin Herbert is a great young player. He is extremely talented. He has put up unbelievable numbers, and now those numbers have amounted to accomplishments that will put him into that next level. Making the playoffs is significant because you can't win a Super Bowl if you don't make the playoffs, to quote my friend Emmanuel Acho. That's how it works. You're playing in significant games. We want to see the best players in games that matter. It's awesome to have a great regular season, especially if you're a young player. Great regular seasons matter when you're a young player. When you're a certified veteran, when you're put into the categories with the greatest in the game, you need to be playing in the postseason. Those are the games that matter. So it's not a small thing at all that they have clinched, and they still have more games to play. So especially considering the way that this season has gone for them, I don't care about the injuries. I'm uninterested. Every team deals with injuries. I don't care. Everyone has to overcome something throughout the season, and I think the game last night, particularly, which we won't have to really get into, was significant because the other side of the ball played well too. So now the whole team has things that they can hang their hat on. And that means everyone's coming together and you're clicking into the next level. You're clicking into the next gear. It's very significant for Justin Herbert that he is now going to get to play in the playoffs. And how great are these playoffs going to be that now we get to see him play in these games that matter?
With all due respect to the NFC, like, these AFC playoffs are about to be a banger, man. Like, Herbert's in there, Burrow's in there, Mahomes, Allen. Hopefully Lamar gets healthy and he's in there. Like, and I mean, we'll see what happens with Tua. That's a very unfortunate situation because that could be another bright young quarterback who's in position. Like, really, if you think about it, of the 10 young quarterbacks in the league, like, 5 of them, 6 of them are going to be playing in the AFC playoffs. That's incredible.
You know what's fascinating? The other takeaway for me is this, and Joy, I think you'll understand it more than anybody at the desk. Shady, you as well, for different reasons. Justin Herbert has earned a new right to be criticized. You got to earn the right to be criticized in society. Like, people aren't mocking everybody on social media. They're mocking you, Joy, because they know who you are. They're mocking me because they know who I am. They might go with Shady because they know who Shady is. Dave, you say something bad about the Cowboys people are going to come at you because they know who you are. You have to earn the right to be criticized. We're not talking about Chase Daniel. He ain't earned the right to be criticized as a Chargers backup quarterback. But now Justin Herbert has earned a new right to be criticized. What did we say about Lamar Jackson? He was a unanimous MVP. He ain't won a playoff game, though. That's what we said about Lamar.
I ain't say that.
A unanimous MVP. You weren't on television at the time. That's what people on television said about Lamar. A unanimous MVP who played against the Tennessee Titans. He had 350 total yards and got smacked. He ain't won a playoff game, though.
He changed you, bro.
He got to win a playoff game. And so Justin Herbert, all he's done is earned a new right to be criticized. But you have to turn that on its head and realize, you know what? To some degree, that's an accomplishment. Because once you are one of those greats, that's when you get criticized. Justin Herbert has earned that right of being in those conversations now where now you got to win a playoff game.
Yeah, I don't really buy that.
Why not?
He's a young quarterback. It's his 3rd year. The stuff he's doing his 3rd year is unbelievable. Like Patrick Mahomes. Let's say Patrick Mahomes didn't go to the playoffs his 1st year and put all them numbers up, all them highlights, all them stats. Like, that really happened. So I guess I'm not going to give you extra flowers because you made this your 1st year making the playoffs. Right, in your 3rd year. It might take time. What we can't do is talk about, all right, he's not that good because he didn't make the playoffs. Like, the numbers he put up, eventually he will get there, eventually.
But he has now.
But I'm saying, I'm giving his flowers before this. Before he got to the playoff berth and all that, before that even happened. The Chargers they weren't doing good. We thought they were going to the playoffs. That Herbert. That Herbert, to me, still gets the same flowers. And your 3rd year, the stuff you putting up, the numbers you putting up, the way you playing, Now, year 5 or 6, right? Like, okay, hey, you're getting close to 30 now. I would start worried about that then, but, like, come on. We can't. Real quick, like, guys like Jimmy G. I love to go back to this situation in this conversation with him because it's like they credit him so much that he gets his team to the NFC Championship, gets to the Super Bowl. But, like, how much of that is really you? I'm sure Herbert was on the Niners.
Yeah, but we can't start playing the what if game, Shady.
We can't do that. But we can do the eye test then. You're right.
Yeah, no.
We can't do the ifs.
So when we
watch the games,
Jimmy Garoppolo, yes.
I do like Jimmy. He don't like. He's not the reason why they go to these games.
That's probably not the best example because Kyle Shanahan's doing it with.
You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, like, I get it. Goes to playoffs is a beautiful thing. That's how you get the name, right? Get the 20 years from now, you'll talk about the games and the playoffs, and you get the Super Bowl. I understand that. But I'm saying a guy in his 3rd year, like, we can't be super critical for him not making
Here's
playoffs.
why I believe you can be critical of it. Because when I think about the quarterbacks that have gone to the playoffs in their third year, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Mitch Trubisky, Baker Mayfield, Marcus Mariota, Kyler Murray, Robert Griffin, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, now Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, everybody and their mama who is good in this generation, you go in the first 3 years. Baker Mayfield went.
You said about maybe 5 quarterbacks better than him.
But that's my point. I said a whole bunch of quarterbacks worse than him in worse situations who went. Kyler Murray went to a worse situation. Baker Mayfield went to a worse situation. Marcus Mariota did not. Joe Burrow went to a worse situation. So if these quarterbacks that are lesser than have done it, he had to do it. And now he has, though.
So now you give him his credit now?
Yeah.
Okay. So having the most touchdowns and the most passing yards in the first 2 years, he didn't get credit for that, but he gave credit because he wants to the playoffs.
It's not about not giving credit. Nobody said he was a bum. Nobody said he wasn't great. Nobody said he didn't have the potential to be great. You can't jump people who have also accomplished more than you and also put up great numbers just because of that. Like, you have to also have the team accomplishments. It's not an individual sport. Like, you're playing the most important position. You should be elevating your team. That's the point. That's where I've always been. Like, if you're that good, then you should also be elevating your team. Which is irrelevant now, because that's obviously what he's now doing.
I just don't, I mean, maybe it's me. I don't really count this making it to the playoffs. That's not like a big thing to me.
Agreed.
Right? My thing is, listen, either you win the championships or you're not, right?
But how can you win one? Okay, you got to get there.
Okay, if you go to the playoffs and you don't win a championship, we're not talking about how many times you went to the playoffs.
That is true.
And then if we can't talk about that, we're going to talk about your numbers next.
True.
So,
but at what level? Like, are we talking about somebody who is considered one of the greatest of all time? Like, that's when we're having that conversation. He's still writing his story. We're not at the end of his career yet, and neither are his peers. So there's a whole journey to go. Where I will push back on, though, I don't think he needs to win a playoff game. Like, it would be great if he does, but to me, this was the next step. Like, you get better, you make it to the playoffs. How you perform in the playoffs, really, to me, at this point, doesn't matter because of what he's done throughout the regular season. Because we've seen him. But
what about Lamar, though? Like, Lamar was unanimous MVP, and you were on shows, I was on shows, Dave was a part of shows.
Don't stay on that side.
I did.
I'm not saying that it shouldn't be criticized if you're going to put him into those categories. I'm with you. It's fair to push back on it. But I'm saying, me personally, I don't need Justin Herbert. Like, it's not going to change my opinion of him at this point. Him making the playoffs this year or not would have, because you need to be elevating your team.
Wait, what about Lamar? Finish that, please.
The thought process with Lamar Jackson was, as great as Lamar Jackson was, he went to the playoffs and he got bounced. Okay. And then his second year, he went to the playoffs and he got bounced.
He did win a game.
He won a game.
He lost to Buffalo.
Yeah. So that was the dilemma. Now is like, now that you're good, you got to get, how good are you?
Okay, so hold on. So the kid won the MVP, won the playoffs. So now the next step is eventually to win the Super Bowl. That's the path,
correct.
Right? So I can respect that. But Lamar still is Lamar, right? And
1,000%.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
The real
he get his flowers if he get a Super Bowl or he don't.
Yes.
But he'll get more flowers if he get a Super Bowl.
Correct. But the real the real reason it's an issue is a conversation everybody's afraid to have. If you don't win a Super Bowl in that first contract before you are taking up a boatload of the money, it is significantly less likely that you will win one outside of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, who were never being paid that much money. Think about it, Shady. Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, the Eagles with Carson Wentz on his rookie deal. You think about Russell going back again. Patrick Mahomes. If you don't win that Super Bowl.
What about getting there? Does that count?
You can get. What you mean?
I mean, the guys that got second contracts, they get to the Super Bowl.
Yes. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, if you don't win it within that first deal, then it's a lot less chance that you will win it.
It's harder.
That's just what the numbers say.
It's harder.
I mean, that's my thing. This is huge for Justin Herbert because in a month he can start talking contract.
Yep.
And that contract is going to be huge because of all of the numbers that we just listed. No, but of course. And obviously the Chargers are going to pay him and they should pay him every dime. But you need to be hitting these benchmarks and saying, well, if you couldn't get us into the postseason when you were cheap and we could surround you with talent,
correct.
What are you going to do when we have to make concessions because of your cap hit? That's my thing. And no, I don't think Justin Herbert needs to make a run this year. You just need that evidence that he can continue to progress. They have gotten better every year.
Real quick, Dave.
Didn't make the playoffs with a losing record. Didn't make the playoffs with a winning record. Now they have made the playoffs with a winning record.
What happens? You are judged against your contemporaries. Still remember who's in the draft class with Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts. We know he probably going to win one game this year, right? Safe to say he'll win one.
I think we're going to.
Fair. I'm just saying safe to say he'll win one. Joe Burrow. He did go to the Super Bowl last year. We're going to talk about Tua once again, but the Miami Dolphins are still a 7 seed, and we don't know if Tua will play again. Keep in mind, like, making the playoffs is great. He had to do it. Jalen did it last year. Burrow went to a Super Bowl last year. So I'm glad he did it, but he had to do it.
Even like, it's weird because I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. But Jalen Hurts went to the playoffs last year. I give you that. But would you say right now Jalen Hurts' career is better than Herbert's?
I would rather, you could have an argument to say you'd rather have Jalen Hurts than Justin Herbert because of what Jalen Hurts helps his team do.
I mean, I agree with that part, but I'm just asking you, like, right now, who would you say is the...
Whose career is better, Justin Herbert?
Easy, though,
Whose
right?
career is better?
And I'm a Hurts guy, but, like, I got more everything than you do.
So really, we're just arguing who's the best out of that draft class?
It's going to be a heated argument.
I think, no, hold on. I think right now you still got to go with Herbert, though.
You got to go Burrow. Burrow, you mean?
Yeah, I would go Burrow. I would go Burrow.
I'm going with Herbert.
See, here we are again. Arguing about Justin Herbert.
We going with Joe.
Make it happen.
We going with Joe.
Hey.
We going with Joe because of the Super Bowl? Is that why?
Hey,
Okay,
Joe's numbers would be right up there if he hadn't missed a solid chunk of his rookie season.
My homie just said we don't do this.
I didn't know. She doesn't do this. I can go up against that one.
He do this.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.